You're joining me again in my kitchen. I just got back from church and I'm gonna be making us some late lunch because it's already almost 1. I went to church and then I went grocery shopping and I plan on making a soup and that usually takes a bit longer as well. But I was really craving some soup and deli style sandwiches. It's a pretty cloudy day here in Iowa. It's kind of brisk out. So I think the warm soup and the hearty sandwiches, it will just feel really good. And yeah, I could have bought um deli sandwiches from whatever shop or the grocery store, but I thought, why not make them? And so I got these dill pickle style potato chips that I've been wanting to try. I also got some other stuff to make a casserole later this week. These are for my tomato soup that I'm going to be making. This is for the casserole. I got some marble rye. It says breakfast bread, so I'm wondering if it's gonna be a little sweeter. I don't know, we'll see. I thought it just sounded interesting, and since it was fresh baked from the store's bakery, I thought that was better than store-bought. I got some uncured hard salami. And so I thought this would be really nice to add to layer in the sandwich. We already have turkey and ham, so we're gonna put that in there as well. Some lettuce on it. And some hard cheddar. And then we also have sliced tomatoes, which I will be adding to it, and whatever else we have in our pantry. So, like I said, I'm gonna be making the soup. I'm gonna be making the sandwiches. I am kind of winging the soup. I wanted to go for a tomato soup. And when I was Googling homemade tomato soup, it was gonna take like hours, which makes sense because I would have to roast the tomatoes in oil, roast the garlic, bake it all together, which in itself took 50 minutes. And so I decided to just get some canned crushed tomatoes, and then I'm just gonna add in whatever else we have just from a basic soup stock. So I don't know if it's gonna be authentic tomato, like creamy tomato soup, or if it's just gonna be tomato flavored normal soup. We'll see. But I think I'm pretty confident that no matter how it turns out, I'm gonna be able to make it taste good. I got some basil for that as well. And then I also got these for a casserole that I'll be making later this week. So it's zucchini, it's tomatoes, it's sausage, and you just kind of cut all of that up, bake it in the oven. And so this is a really easy go-to dinner that we make pretty frequently. So that's why I picked those up. And I also got some, this is so funny, I got some cookie dough, like bake sheets, like pre-made. I have all the ingredients to make cookies, but I already made muffins this morning. So I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna make these later on and have the house smelling super like fresh and homey. And I got some milk to go with it too, and I'm really excited for this part. Yeah, I could make homemade cookies, but these are easier, okay? I'm already doing all this other stuff. What do you want from me? I don't know. I haven't made the ready to bake ones in a long time, so I'm actually really excited. Okay, first up is the soup. So let's see, this is our old raggedy pot. It works just fine. We're gonna be using that. And move this out of the way. Turn the stove on. Awesome. First thing to go in there is going to be some onions. I have some cut cabbage. I don't know if I'm going to add that. We'll see. We'll just hold on to it. So just grab my cutting board and chop up some onions. My family doesn't really like onions too much. They say they'll only eat the purple onions. And this is a yellow onion. But when it's blended up in soup, you don't really notice, right? They won't mind. It's important for the flavor. I've been really trying to practice my cooking skills because I think it's really important, especially if I want to have a family one day. And I've also been trying to focus on health. And so this is a great way to really like take care of yourself. I'm not focusing too much on like nutrition or sorts at the moment. It's not fully like summer yet, and so it's really hard to find local produce as opposed to shopping at a grocery store. But next week, the farmers markets will be opening, and I'm really excited because I'll be able to venture out a lot easier, and it's going to be a lot cheaper too, to be honest. The things like the squash and the onions are ones that I can very easily pick up around here, so I'm excited for that. I really wanted to try and get into making, where's my olive oil? Here it is. I really wanted to try and get into making bread. I have a close friend who's super into bread, and it's so delicious every time. It's like insane that she can do that. And you know, she was walking me through some like beginner bread recipes, and it doesn't sound that hard. I don't know why I'm so nervous about it. But that definitely is a long-term goal of mine to work towards, is making my own bread. Maybe growing my own vegetables. I do want to have a garden this year, and so that's something that's been important to me as well. And I think starting cooking and getting just in the practice of it is really important until that point comes, you know, because change is really hard. And so even if it's good change, but if I can kind of get into the routine of cooking on a regular basis, then it would be easier to challenge myself in focusing on the ingredients after that, you know what I mean? I also think that my boyfriend's probably really loving this new hobby of mine. I started out with making muffins. Every Sunday I would make different muffins. I've made double chocolate, I've made chocolate chip, these ones are banana, I made blueberry, and that was kind of my first task, was just trying to like perfect my muffin recipe. And that was kind of the thing that first got me into the practice of cooking. Well, that's technically baking, but it's still making food. And from there, I went to making soups. I made a soup last week. It was a cabbage and sriracha hot and sour soup. It was so good. And I made a salad dressing to go with it as well. A peanut It was like a spicy peanut sauce. It was really good. And so I made the salad dressing, I made that soup. I'm really good at making salads, so that's pretty easy to whip up. And yeah. So I'm trying this soup today as well. I'm not following any specific recipe. I wish I had an immersion blender. I looked at the grocery store that I went to today, and I tried to find just whatever immersion blender they had there, but they didn't have any. So I don't know how I'm gonna blend this up. We have a NutriBullet, but then you'd have to do it in really small batches. That's okay. Which brings up another point about home cooking, is that, you know, you can get really excited and plan out all these things and go to the store and get all your ingredients, but if it's not something that you actually follow through on, like, you're just spending money for no reason, and it just turns out like every other thing that you promise in life but doesn't actually end up happening. And so also in the beginning, when I first like started this adventure, I didn't buy anything new. I challenged myself to just make do with what I had. That's kind of what I'm still doing, but I think that was a really good exercise in testing out and seeing if I was serious about it or not. And I honestly think that it took off a lot of pressure too. Like, if every time I had to cook something, I wanted to go, or anytime I wanted to cook something, I had to go to the store and spend like $100 in ingredients just for one night's meal, like, that would be really discouraging. And so, and very overwhelming. That would be a lot of work, like a lot more work than is necessary. It's like such a big commitment. And so, of course, that's not going to be sustainable. So just making do with what I had, and like my beginning muffins that I made so many substitutions it wasn't even funny. Like, almost everything in the recipe would end up being substituted because I'd have no milk, I'd have no eggs, I'd have no oil or butter, and like I said, I just kind of had to make do with what I had. And it honestly made it a lot better because, you know, if it sucks, you can kind of blame it on that and you don't have to blame yourself as much. Because it's not going to turn out good in the beginning. That's just the way it is. And that's okay. So I just chopped up a whole onion, a few stalks of celery, and carrots. Usually in soup, they only call for like 1 carrot and 2 stalks of celery, but I feel like putting more in adds more flavor and more nutrients. So I'm just going to see how it goes. So I'm going to let those cook, and I'll be right back. Oh. It smells so good in here. Between the banana muffins I made this morning and the soup that's on the stove now, I'm like, ooh, it smells so good. It makes me so happy. This is what I've always wanted, is a pastry dome filled with fresh pastries and food cooking on the stove for my family to enjoy. It's all so exciting when it starts coming into reality. Like, it feels so good, and you just want to sit in it and be like, wow, I love this. Like, I could eat this just the way it is, like right now. Like, I could spoon full of carrots and celery and just eat it like that right now if I wanted to. It smells that good. I also put some garlic in it. And now I'm peeling some parsley. And I don't know how much the parsley is going to add to it, but I thought it would give it like a really fresh taste that I was hoping for. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. And that's another thing I was thinking about was, like, when I first started baking, I wanted to go out and get, like, all the cute measuring cups and mixing bowls and an apron, and I still really need an apron. I'm trying to get my sister to make one for me. Maybe I'll make one myself. But, maybe that could be my next project. But like I said, I wasn't sure if I was fully committed yet. And so, you know, writing it out was more important to me than that momentary like dopamine hit you get when you decide that you're gonna turn your life around and start out on a new journey. But I really do need an apron at this point. I cook so much, and I'm usually just wearing what I'm wearing, like my sweatpants or my t-shirt or Well, it turns out I was wrong and we didn't have the deli meat that I thought we had, so now we just have some salami sandwiches, which it's fine. It is what it is. If I make some good enough sandwiches, hopefully it won't make too much of a difference. I'm just laughing at how my cooking seems to always end up, you know, I'm always missing something, but that's okay. All right, we're almost done. I'm just gonna spoon some of the soup. I'm warming up some of the bread with the cheese on it right now, and I'm about to put it all together for us. Hopefully this turns out okay. Nice. Okay. Just gonna cut it up. And voila, there you have it. Thank you for joining me for lunch today. I hope you have a beautiful Sunday and a beautiful week. Hopefully this helped you inspire to try something new, whether it be baking, cooking, cleaning, any kind of new adventure you might be going on. You never know where it's gonna lead, and it doesn't have to be perfect. We embrace imperfection here.